Hi, this is Summer from Summer's Tips and Stitches, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite pattern books and some of my not so favorite pattern books and pattern books that maybe took me a little longer to figure out. Because I've been crocheting for 3 years, almost all my pattern books are crochet. At this point, I've only been knitting for a couple months, and all the patterns I have printed off of Ravelry. Pattern reading has been a slow process for me. I feel like there's two types of patterns that I've come across. There's patterns that are written by main companies like Red Heart, Yarn Inspirations, and they tend to be less wordy, more abbreviation and to the point. And then there's patterns written by fellow crocheters, and they tend to be a little bit more, and I use the word wordy but not in a negative way. They have a little bit more to the pattern, and for me, they tend to be a little easier to understand. So I'm going to get started with just random book. I'm going to pick up a book. I tried to order them and like, oh, my favorite to my least favorite. Just got a lot busy there. But so here's the first one. It's called Head Wraps, 10 Crochet Projects. I got this at Walmart not very long ago. I want to say maybe 2 years ago at the most. And on the back there are pictures of different head wraps with flowers on them. I got this for my daughter and my niece Tanya. Initially, just flipping through the book at Walmart, it seemed very easy. I understood the basics. I understood the abbreviations, but I will say the one trouble point came to me when I was making this headband. You can't see it, but there is a button join. So when writing the pattern, and this is probably, I think, one of the differences between patterns written by companies versus someone who crochets, they didn't specify that I needed to stop 6 stitches prior to the end because I was going to be making a buttonhole. They just listed what to do. And because I'm a fairly new crocheter and someone who is teaching myself how to crochet off of YouTube videos and pattern books, and I just didn't understand why it didn't keep coming to the end, that my pattern kept stopping a little bit at the end. And nowhere did it say, leave the end for the button. It didn't say it till the end of the pattern. So the lesson I learned from this pattern book is review your pattern from start to finish before you crochet. Because if I would have done that, I would have known immediately that there was a buttonhole at the end and that those 6 stitches were for the button. So I ended up just crocheting through it and then joining it with a slip stitch and didn't have an adjustable button. But anyway, this is a good pattern book. They're very cute. The flowers, I use them for a lot of other projects. If I need a flower, I look through here because they do have, as I show right here, the pattern separate for the flower. But like I said, with this one, it's definitely bare bones abbreviation and there's not a lot of explanation, and so you either have to read it front to beginning first. This pattern book also my husband got me at Walmart. This was a Mother's Day gift. It's a stitch guide. Now, what I really like about this is it has, as you can see, bunches of different patterns, little stitch guides that you can follow. So if you wanted to make a really long like blanket scarf and you wanted to have a simple repetitive pattern, you could go here to Clusters Spray, and it will tell you the number of stitches you would need to complete this pattern. So let's just say for this one, it says you need to chain in multiples of 10 plus 2. So crochet your chain in multiples of 10, so let's just go easy, 100, then add 2 and you have 102. And that you can decide how wide or how long you want your project and it will tell you right there. So let's say you want to do the cluster wraps. This one you're going to do a multiples of 8 plus 1. And so it's really nice because you can design your own wrap and do these really cool stitches. Here's a really fun one. There's another one. This is called Floral Fantasy and Tricolor Beauty. And it tells you how many stitches you need to start your initial chain with, and then you can just go from there. It shows you the basic. And the thing that I like about this is it is more wordy. So I'm just going to read a snippet of it to not violate copyright rules. But it says, SC in the first DC, draw up a loop on the hook to measure a 1/2 inch. So already there's more words in it. It's not, that was my son. He's down here watching videos. But it's already more words than basic abbreviations. So I like that. It's like the best of both worlds. It's got a lot of abbreviations in there, but there's a few words in there to kind of guide you through it. So this is really great if you're someone who likes to create your own patterns. Then a bunch of these books I bought at Hobby Lobby. They range anywhere from $4.99, and a couple of them I got on clearance. This one I got on sale for $2.99. This one $3.49. And I bought these when I first was learning how to crochet. This one has cotton dishcloths, which I really love. And there's a couple of them that I've done over and over again. And what I do is I make one layer, I just make one, and I use that for a dishcloth. And if I want to use it for a hot pad, I make 2 of them and whip stitch them together along the sides. And at the back, it does give you their abbreviation guide. So you can't, and the other thing that they do is each pattern lists whether it's easy, intermediate, or I think they might call the last one difficult. So that was a very nice book, and I use this one a lot when I make dishcloths and hot pads. This book I bought to teach me how to do a granny square. I will say initially it was a little confusing for me. And they all are beginner and easy, but I was just teaching myself how to read patterns. I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% a fan of all the, like, look at that scarf. But there were some really cute things on here I liked. Like, it shows Granny's square pillow. I think maybe, oh, and the Granny square coasters. I really like that. And again, this is a Red Heart pattern book. Basic abbreviations, not a lot of words. Again, that was my son. This I bought, I think, because my sister was going to have a baby girl at the time. And these are baby patterns. You can make, there's a cute booty pattern, gloves, bottle warmers, which I thought was really bizarre, and little mitts, bath mitts. And I really love that little mouse hat on the cover. Again, this is basic abbreviations, little wording. Hanger covers are in there. This was a really nice pattern book. This was another Granny Square pattern book. I got this one clearance for $3.49 at Hobby Lobby. I got this one because I wanted to make this scarf. I'll show you another picture of it right on the back here. There it is. I really loved it, but I'm going to be honest, once I started making it, I had a really difficult time joining them together. So what they have you do is make those little shapes, little circle shapes, star patterns, and they join them together. And I got confused with their assembly diagram. They didn't use a lot of words, and they put this diagram in there. So that confused me. The next pattern book I have that I really like is a basket pattern book. This one I bought for regular price at Hobby Lobby. I've only made one out of it, but if you're someone that has cats or dogs, there's a cute little bed. And then there's, let's see if I can real quick flip to the one I liked. Well, I like this little tote, you know, like an apple. Oh, they have one right here on the back. Even better. So I bought that. This one I bought because I saw a bunch of patterns on random Facebook groups that I'm involved in for crochet, and they're like interlocking patterns, and I never could find a free one that I really understood. So I thought, you know what, well, maybe I will try purchasing a pattern. So I bought this because I wanted to do that like interlocking blanket, but I haven't done it yet. Again, Walmart or Hobby Lobby for those little ones. Now, this pattern book, I belong to a Wednesday night knit group. They're a super great group of ladies. Even though they all are knitting, a couple of them do crochet. They are a wealth of information. And then they also like to share their goodies when they're cleaning out. And so this book, 200 crochet blocks, it is a little older. It's by Jan Eaton. Let's see if I can find the copyright for you. I'm not going to look for too long here. 2004, so it's not that bad. It's only 10, 14 years old. But I love this book, and I've already made one baby blanket with it. So basically what it does is it has pages and pages of patterns for different squares that you can make, different design patterns. Then you can choose the ones you want, and they're all made so they're exactly the same size. You can choose the ones you want and make a square, or make a baby, sew them together, make a blanket. Or, and then they have an index in the beginning of all the different patterns that they have and the colors they use. So you could choose, like, I want to do 121, I want to do 124, and I want to do every other square that way. Or they have, I should have like pre-marked these for you. Or they have blankets laid out for you. So then they choose a bunch that they liked and they made a pattern, and then they say, for this one you're going to need to do 3 28 number 3s, 4 61s, 216s, or 16 200s, and 209. And then, so they have a bunch of those for you in the beginning. And like I said, if you don't want to follow theirs, you can make your own. This one is a blanket with Christmas tree looking ones. So they have Christmas ones, 4th of July ones, baby styled ones, or you can just wing it and make your own. And they are very simple to follow. Some of them are made granny style, granny square style. Some of them are made kind of like in the round and then squared out. And then some of them are just rows back and forth. You can find this on Amazon. It is a wonderful book. I really love it. This one I bought myself from Joann's, and I love it and I use it a lot, and as you can see it is being destroyed. But what it is it is a book that gives you patterns for making animal pillows. I made the sheep for my nephew because he was born in March, and you know, March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. I made the piggy for my daughter. And then, of course, as you fellow moms know, my sons, I said, what pillow would you like me to make you? And they're like, oh, I want a Pikachu. So I kind of winged it and like made a combination of, chose the eyes off of the monkey and partnered it with the body of this one and put the arms of that one. I kind of tried to piece together my own Pikachu. It looks like a hot mess. They love it though. Not my best work. I'm appalled every time I see them. And I will say I used Red Heart yarn. I wonder if these are, no, it's a Leisure Arts book. And I will say, even though Red Heart is really stiff, it is not durable. And they've pilled, and I think I probably made them 2 years ago. And every once in a while I have to go in there and touch them up, like re-sew an arm, sew an eye on. But my boys do sleep with those Pikachu pillows in their bed every night. I don't remember how much this pattern book was, and it does have bonus online tutorials. So if you're confused about how to do the eyes or the wings, there'll be a little symbol in here to tell you that you can go online and get a little tutorial on how to do that part. So that is called Kids Animal Pillows, and I got that at Joann's. Now a few of these others are a bit old. Nope, I'm going to do a newer one first. So this is a book my husband got me for my birthday. Victorian Beautiful Shawls to Crochet. And I'm going to tell you what, they are gorgeous. I mean, just look. I mean, I don't know if it's just the colors, but oh, they're just so pretty. They are kind of small, so if you're a larger woman, you're going to have to do some math and figure out how to do them. The patterns, some of them come with diagrams to go with, in addition to the words. I'm going to real quick try to find the one I crocheted. I only made one out of this book, and I wish I had it to show you, but my daughter stole it. She stole it and took it to school for her Girl Scout troop to keep in their dress-up bin, so if they ever needed to do a granny. I'm like, all right. So I made this one, and in a mandala pink and blue and white yarn. And it had like I said, it has a diagram. It had very simple abbreviations, minimal words, but they do go over the abbreviations prior to each pattern. I really liked it. I'm not for sure where he got it, but it does say on the back of it, $11.95. I'm gonna guess, because where we live, he either got it at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or Walmart, because there's very little. This is an old pattern book that I got from a friend in my knitting group. I love it. It's a crocheted slipper book. It's Leisure Arts. I'm trying to figure out when it's copyrighted, if that helps you, if you were going to look online to try to buy one. But I just love the slippers. They're super cute. I'll show you the one I made for my daughter. I made those like little ballerina ones, but I did them pink and gray because that's the color she wanted. So I will say it took me a little bit of time to process the pattern. My way of processing a pattern is I read through it once, then I write it out step by step. So like if it says working in the back loop only, 3 double crochets, and I write it out word by word, line by line, even if they already have it fairly wordy with a lot of words in the pattern, I still write it out. And then I read it, and then I, at that point that I'm writing it out, I unabbreviate it and write the words out. And so sometimes I follow that a few times. But like I said, super cute patterns. I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of the colors, but I found that when you look at old pattern books compared to new pattern books, the colors change, the shades change, colors that go with. And so when you make them, like I said, those other slippers in super cute pink, gray, and white, it looks just as adorable as it did then, but in more modern color schemes. The last book I bought was when I was trying to teach myself to crochet. I can't believe I'm crocheting. And this was a little spendy. It was $13 from Hobby Lobby. I only made a couple things. I'm real quick going to show you. I used the dishcloth pattern. I used that one. And, you know, I've tried to look at the pictures, and a lot of times those confuse me. But I will say the pictures that they have inserted to explain how to do back and front post double crochet, which I think are usually labeled BFDC or FP, anyway, front post, back post, they were very helpful. Usually the pictures I look at them, I'm like, what the heck are they doing? But in this book actually was pretty helpful. And then they also, sometimes when they're trying to show you something, will show with an alternating color, a different color, so it makes it more clear. And then, like I said, this was one of the first books I ever bought. And it really lists a lot of the things that you would need that, you know, when you're just starting to crochet, you don't have any idea about needing stitch markers or a counter or measuring in order what a gauge swatch is. I mean, I didn't really, this is a funny story, and I'm getting kind of long, but I only have one other book. When I was little, my mom's mom crocheted. Now, I only ever saw her crocheting slippers. But she had to have been crocheting other things, because every once in a while, she would make a little square, and then she would, after she made her gauge square, but of course, when I was a kid, I didn't know what that was. And she'd say, here, Summer, here's a kissing suka. And she'd hand it to me, and she'd fold it in half and sew it along the edge. And I used to use them as like finger puppets, or I'd put them on my doll's arms. And now, as a grown-up and someone who crochets, I know she was making gauge swatches. But then I didn't know what she was doing and why she'd give me all these kissing sukas, which my mom has later translated because my grandma spoke Finnish. in Finnish, kissinsuka is kitten socks. And so, you know, she folded the square in half and made it look like a little kitten sock. But this one explains everything. This book really goes to the basic of crocheting, left-handed, right-handed, what the point of gauge swatches are, kissinsukas. And I really do recommend it. If you're someone that can follow books, this one will be good. Otherwise, to be honest, YouTube has been my like 90% of how I've been learning. So the last book I'm going to show you, my husband bought me for Christmas. And I'm going to be honest right now, I've done very little work with it. But it is a book on designing your own crochet projects. He got this off of Amazon. And what it does is it shows you something that you could make. And here is a scarf, Hitchcock scarf. And then it goes through, I wonder if you'll even be able to see in here, all the information you would need for how big you want it, like 6.5 inches, 6 inches, and how many stitches you would need per inch to do this specific project. Or if you wanted to do, I think I put a bookmark in here for, talks about designing your own hat, measuring the head, how many inches you'll need for a circumference, and how many stitches you'll need per the inch. And of course, then they have a beanie, a basic beanie that they show you here that you can then make to size based on measurements. So it is a very lovely gift. Unfortunately, math really scares me. Here's a pattern for making mittens. And again, you measure the hand for the person that you want. It breaks down the number of stitches you need for that hand. So then you know how many to chain, how many to go around, when to increase or decrease. It shows you how to measure the hand to make the right size. How much it cost, I don't know. But the patterns in here are pretty adorable. And I was very impressed that he chose this book for me. So that is a very good, nice book. And I like it because, I don't know if you can see in there, it has a spiral binding. So it's easy to open, so the pages move easier. So yeah, that is all I have today to share about my crochet books. Now, a real quick correction on the last video when I was giving you an update on that picture. I was talking about a gal that has a crochet channel that I was recommending, and I said Chrissy's Craft Corner, and that is not correct. It's Chrissy's Crochet Corner. However, in the description, I did put a link, and it did say Chrissy's Crochet Corner. But if you're someone who doesn't necessarily know how to navigate the description, you would have typed in Chrissy's Crochet Corner. She comes up, you know, under Craft Corner, but you wouldn't have known. Two other gals that I wanted to mention. Well, one, because now I just forgot the other one. Frances Siple. Siple, I believe you say her last name. She does very lovely videos where she chats about different shawls or pillows she's making, different yarns that she's bought. She has a very calming voice. I'll put a link in the description to her channel, and her channel is simply her name. I really recommend listening to her. If you're someone who likes to listen to someone in the background while you're crocheting, she's a great one to listen to. The other one, and she is actually the very first crochet person I found because I was looking to do a Swiffer cover for my mom. And her channel, I believe, is called Designs by Denai. She also does, so besides doing a lot of her own design projects and doing a lot of crochet with baby diaper covers, baby hats, regular hats, the messy bun hat, Swiffer covers, shawls, scarves, you name it, she can crochet it. And she usually makes them all up herself. She's someone that can design without using patterns. She's amazing. She also uses crochet hooks and latch hooks and the techniques of crochet to help do women's hair. So I will say her channel does have a lot of variety on there. She also sells reusable feminine products. So, I mean, there's a lot of other things on that channel, but she also has a very soothing voice. She does some cooking on there. She's very educational. She has a lot of wisdom to share with other people. And so I'll put a link in the description to her YouTube channel too. Like I said, she was one of the first ones, and I like binge watched all her crochet videos. So yeah, so that's Designs by Design and Frances Siple, I believe. So I'll put a link to theirs. And super good news, like, I'm exploding. I'm so happy. And I'm sure like these people with like 5 million subscribers are gonna like laugh at me. But I now have, I'm like 8 away from 50 subscribers, and then I'll do my giveaway. Which I'll have a special titled video yarn giveaway. I've reached 50 subscribers, and that is where we'll do all the entering. There'll be these 2 cakes, a mandala and these beautiful shades here, and a mandala baby, which I really love this one. You can get up, it's kind of like a rainbow. It's got pink, dark blue, light blue, a yellow, shades of yellow. This is showing up pink in here, but if you look on the bottom, it's kind of peachy. So these are the 2 yarn skeins I'll give away when I reach my 50, but like I said, I promise when I reach the 50, I will do a separate video, and under that video is where you'll enter, and then we'll work out the details of how you want to get me your address when I choose the winner. And I have over 1,000 views. Now, I don't really know how YouTube works in regards to how many views you need or subscribers. Just for me personally, I'm pretty excited with having my channel open for exactly 2 months. I now have over 40 subscribers and over 1,000 views. So I was like, wow, it's so exciting. There's people out there who watch my videos. So yeah, so I was pretty happy, pretty proud of myself. And I just love, I love sitting down here chatting on these videos. For a stay-at-home mom, this has been really fun. But yeah, that's what I've got for today. Otherwise, I'll chat at you again later. Happy crafting.